You know the feeling, right? That super vague, all staff email that lands in your inbox, maybe on a Friday afternoon. The subject line is something like, exciting updates ahead, and your stomach just drops. Immediately, the rumor mill kicks into high gear. Is it layoffs? A big reorg? And just like that, a weekend you were looking forward to is filled with this low-grade anxiety. Well, it really doesn't have to be this way. Today, we're diving into a leader's playbook for communicating change in a way that actually builds trust instead of fear. See, whenever a big change is coming, leaders are standing at a fork in the road, and they have a choice that leads down one of two very, very different paths. On one side, you've got poor communication, the vague emails, the closed-door meetings. That path leads directly to anxiety, resistance, and a rumor mill that is just out of control. But on the other side, effective communication fosters the exact opposite: trust, a real sense of stability, and genuine engagement from your team. So while change itself might be a constant in business, the crippling anxiety it can cause, that's a choice. So the big question is, how do we make sure we choose the better path? Well, we've broken it all down into a super actionable 5-part playbook. We're going to start with the core idea that anxiety isn't a given. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, how to plan your message, be transparent, listen with real empathy, and finally, how to follow through to make sure the change actually sticks. Okay, let's kick things off with the most fundamental idea here. The change itself, that isn't the real problem. I mean, whether it's a new software, a new policy, or a massive restructuring, change is just normal. The real source of all that stress and fear is the lack of information, the uncertainty, and that feeling that you've totally lost control of your situation. And this is what we're aiming for. This isn't just about playing defense or doing damage control. When you handle it right, communicating change is an amazing opportunity to rally your team, to reinforce your shared purpose, and to actually make the bounds of trust within your organization stronger. It's about turning a moment of potential fear into a moment of real cohesion. So how do we do that? Well, it all starts with a plan. You absolutely cannot just wing this stuff. The success of any change announcement is almost entirely decided by the prep work you do behind the scenes, long before anyone in the company hears a single word about it. And that planning really boils down to these 4 key steps. First up, map the impact. You have to figure out who's going to be affected and how. A one-size-fits-all message just won't cut it. Second, and this is crucial, you have to put yourself in your employees' shoes and try to anticipate every single question they might have. What's changing? Why are we doing this now? How does this affect me? Third, you craft that core message. And fourth, you choose the right channels to get it out there. And here's a hint. A mass email is almost never the best first move for a major change. A really key part of crafting your message is creating what's called an elevator statement. Think of it as your headline. It's got to be short, sweet, and to the point. Something like, to better serve our customers, we're combining departments C and D into one team. We're announcing the new structure today, and over the next 3 months, we'll be integrating our processes. See, it's direct, it's clear, and it gives everyone the essential info right up front. All right, once your plan is locked in, it's go time. It's time for delivery. And the guiding principle here is simple: transparency. Why? Because in an information vacuum, people don't assume the best. They almost always assume the absolute worst. So filling that vacuum with clear, honest information is the single best way to short-circuit that anxiety spiral before it even begins. But this is where so many leaders get nervous. It's a really common fear. What if we communicate something, but we don't have every single little detail figured out? Won't that just create even more panic? And the answer is a resounding no. Actually, the exact opposite is true. Admitting what you don't know is an incredibly powerful tool. Saying something like, look, we haven't decided on the new team assignments yet, but we promise to have an update for you by next Friday, is so much more effective than pretending you have all the answers. That level of honesty builds massive credibility and shows you respect your team enough to tell them the truth. So far, we focused a lot on what you need to say, but what you need to hear is just as important, if not more so. Truly effective communication during a time of change is never, ever a one-way broadcast from the top down. It has to be a two-way dialogue. Empathy starts by simply acknowledging the emotional reality of the situation. Just opening a meeting by saying, I get it. I understand this news might be unsettling and it's totally normal to feel anxious about this, can instantly lower the temperature in the room. It validates how people are feeling, it creates psychological safety, and it proves that leadership isn't tone deaf to the human side of all this. And if you're a numbers person, the data on this is just staggering. Research shows that when companies just push information out, that one-way broadcast we talked about, only about 20% of employees really understand what's going on. But When they create a two-way conversation, that number nearly triples to 60%. Dialogue isn't just a nice-to-have, folks. It is absolutely essential for getting real comprehension and buy-in. And finally, we get to the follow-through. Look, the announcement might feel like the finish line, but it's really just the starting gun. The real work happens in the days, weeks, and months that follow. This is where you actually turn a moment of disruption into a shared, constructive journey for everyone. One of the best tools for calming that ongoing anxiety is a clear roadmap, just like this one. It gives people a sense of structure, a sense of control. When your employees can actually see the key milestones, when training starts, when new processes go live, the future starts to feel less like some scary, undefined fog and more like a manageable, step-by-step process we can all tackle together. Following through really means committing to these key actions. You have to give people consistent updates, even if there's nothing major to report. You absolutely must keep those feedback channels open so you can tackle new issues as they pop up. And so importantly, you have to celebrate the small wins along the way and acknowledge the hard work people are putting in to adapt. That's what keeps the momentum and morale high. So, if there's one big takeaway from this entire playbook, it's this. Great communication isn't just about preventing a crisis. It's a proactive strategy. It's a genuine opportunity to take a moment of potential weakness and flip it on its head, to turn it into a moment that actually strengthens your team's trust, their resilience, and their sense of shared purpose. So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this thought. Change is inevitable. It's already on its way to your organization right now. The only real question is, when it gets there, are you going to let it become a moment of anxiety and distrust? Or will you use it as an opportunity to build a stronger, more connected team? The choice, really, is yours.